Join us as we take a look back at the stories to make headlines this year in Northeast Wisconsin. And perhaps the most noticeable change in 2025, after more than a decade, Fox 11's studio got a major high-tech facelift. Thanks for joining us for our 2025 Year in Review. 2025 included perhaps the most anticipated event that our area has ever hosted. Of course, that's the NFL Draft in Green Bay. It was a huge success. Fox 11's Ben Krumholz recaps the three-day event.
I mean, this is our Super Bowl. Yeah. That's what it is.
After more than a year of planning,
operationally, we're feeling really good.
And about 6 weeks of site construction,
really, we're ready for all of it.
The NFL's smallest city hosted the league's second most well-attended draft in history.
People thought maybe it was too small. You turned out en masse. We could not be happier. Congratulations, Green Bay. You've done a heck of a job hosting this draft.
Attendance on the draft's first day was about 205,000 people, nearly surpassing the three-day projection of about 250,000.
Probably having my dad lift me up so I can see.
Gates had to be temporarily closed, leaving some fans on the outside looking in on what was a memorable kickoff to picks being announced.
It says, "My fellow Americans, the Bears still suck!"
The night peaked with outgoing Packers president Mark Murphy announcing the team's selection.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver of Texas.
The event was much more than teams picking players. Titletown was filled with displays and interactive exhibits. Fans could kick field goals on Lambeau Field. Events were also held throughout the city, benefiting businesses, charities, and trying to put a best foot forward to lure people back for future visits.
The NFL really took a chance on a small city like us, and we couldn't be more proud.
The NFL announced about 600,000 people went through the draft gates. Post-event analysis put the number of unique visitors at more than 362,000. The economic impact for Brown County was almost $73 million, 264% higher than the pre-event projection. Statewide, nearly $105 million came in. Those numbers compared to the estimated cost to put on the event of about $11 million.
They've really worked hard to make a beautiful celebration that will be a lasting memory for a lot of people.
In Green Bay, Ben Krumholz, Fox 11 News.
Still to come in our Year in Review special, from a nationally watched Supreme Court race to a Cinnabon employee going viral online.
A recap of the political stories that made headlines in Northeast Wisconsin. But first, it was a tumultuous year for education in Wisconsin, from college campus closures to school safety. The past year was a roller coaster for school districts and universities in our area.
The top education stories dealt with budget deficits, safety in schools, and closures. Fox 11's Tony Langfellow takes a look back.
2025 came in like a lion for public schools and universities. In Menasha, the UW-Oshkosh Fox Cities campus closed its doors in June due to declining enrollment.
Very close to home, don't have to pay for living or food or any of that. That's awesome. I kind of like the one-on-one with the professors.
Winnebago County took sole ownership of the property in July. The Barlow Planetarium, a communications arts center, field house, child care center, and undeveloped land were all part of the deal.
There are days where I say, what have we gotten ourselves into? And there are days that I think, this has a lot of potential.
It was decided the Barlow would remain as is, reopening to the public in September. 2025 also brought budget shortfalls for many Northeast Wisconsin public school districts. Some of the deficits were blamed on a lack of funding in the state budget passed in July. In October, Fox 11 reported the Green Bay Area Public School District was projecting a $3.6 million deficit for this school year. The Appleton Area School District faced a $13 million shortfall.
We've been very fiscally responsible, but we do think that may be a detriment to our students' success.
The Menasha Joint School District and Kaukauna Area School District also expected to see budget struggles. Safety in the Green Bay School District came front and center in September after a loaded handgun was found in a student's backpack at Preble High School. As part of a plea agreement, the now 17-year-old will remain in a secure youth facility until his 18th birthday. If he violates any conditions of the agreement, his case will be moved to adult court.
Students that do something like this and scare our student body and our staff and our community will pay a consequence. And I want to be very clear about that.
Less than 2 weeks later, the district implemented a clear backpack policy for grades 6 through 12. The change was met with criticism by students.
Some people, they have like personal items like toiletries and stuff that they keep in their backpack, and some people are uncomfortable with other people seeing that.
In November, the Board of Education discussed adjusting the backpack policy, proposing a ban on backpacks in the classroom. That policy was tabled. Other safety measures discussed include metal detectors, increased police presence, and better mental health resources. In October, Greenbay East football coach Niko Sila was suddenly placed on administrative leave. He was also the school's manager of engagement, attendance, and advocacy.
Bring back Niko!
The move sparked outrage from many students and community members.
I still don't know what to say about it, honestly. Why did this happen? This is ridiculous.
I feel like he didn't deserve what happened to him. He's a good person, so that's why I'm out here.
In November, the school board voted to terminate Sila based on 2 allegations: intentionally falsifying attendance records and transporting students in his personal vehicle without proper documentation.
This was not easy, and you know, it's true. There were a lot of kids who feel that Niko did a lot of good for them, but in the end, you know, you have to look at the regulations.
It's tough. It's tough, all right, because I'm one person, and I'm asking right now the whole community and the whole School of East to help me wipe the tears away from the students that are going through it hard right now.
Sila plans to launch his own youth mentorship program and run for a position on the school board in the spring. In Green Bay, Tony Langfellow, Fox 11 News.
There is plenty more to come in our 2025 Year in Review special. Despite less than ideal conditions, records were set during sturgeon spearing on Lake Winnebago.
Plus, how this year's deer hunt harvest numbers compare to 2024, and what prompted a Fox Valley man to set fire to a congressman's office.
2025 brought a number of high-stakes battles, political violence, as well as big institutional moves in Wisconsin.
Fox 11's Emily Matesic has our look back.
The new year brought a new president, new policies, and attacks on a Wisconsin congressman and a political activist. A now 20-year-old Menasha man set fire to the outside of Representative Glenn Grothman's Fond du Lac district office in January. It was in response to Grothman voting in favor to ban the social media site TikTok. Facing arson, terrorist threats, and other charges, as part of a plea deal, Caden Stakowitz pleaded no contest to the arson charge. He'll be sentenced in March. In September, Charlie Kirk, co-founder of the conservative student organization Turning Point USA, was shot and killed while speaking at Utah Valley University. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson was charged, and prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, claiming the assassination was politically motivated. In December, a Cinnabon employee at the bakery at Bay Park Square Mall was fired after she was recorded spewing a racial slur at a Somali couple. The incident happened after President Trump called Somalis garbage and said he didn't want them in the country. A seat on Wisconsin's Supreme Court was up for grabs in spring after Justice Ann Walsh Bradley retired after 3 decades on the bench. The election pitted Dane County Judge Susan Crawford against former Wisconsin Attorney General Brad Schimel, Crawford winning the election by a landslide.
I'm proud to take my seat on this court, and I'm ready to meet this moment. And most of all, that means I'm ready to get to work for the people of our great state on Wisconsin.
It was the most expensive Supreme Court race in state history. Crawford's victory meant the liberal majority was maintained on the state's highest court, which had implications on key policy issues like abortion, collective bargaining, and possibly redistricting. Even before Crawford took her seat, the court's liberal majority struck down the state's 176-year-old abortion ban, ruling it was superseded by newer state laws regulating the procedure. The spring election also saw a constitutional amendment on the ballot. Wisconsin voters solidified a law which requires voters to show an approved ID to register to vote and receive a ballot. In July, Governor Tony Evers said he won't seek re-election, the governor making the announcement after months of debate over his proposed biennial budget. The $111 billion spending plan included income tax cuts, major education investments, child care funding, and a boost for the University of Wisconsin system. The governor declaring 2025 the year of the kid in Wisconsin. Emily Matesic, Fox 11 News.
It was an active year for Mother Nature in Wisconsin.
Winter storms left areas covered in ice, and in the summer we felt more than a dozen tornadoes. And remember the 2 otters who escaped from the new zoo and made national headlines. Coming up, a look back at the stories from Wisconsin's wilderness.
It has been another year, a big year, with the weather events right here in our own backyard.
Meteorologist Audrey Leigh shows us how they unfolded.
2025 started off mild with record warmth in the 40s and 50s to close out January. But winter returned in February when winter storms Brenda and Cooper each dropped 6 to 10 inches of snow across northeast Wisconsin. Temperatures also fell enough for the Fox 11 ice test to return after a 2-year hiatus. Our 6th named winter storm arrived by late March. Winter Storm Franny coated the northern half of the state in ice and knocked out power to over 7,000 in Marinette County.
I've never seen this amount of ice. This is the worst we've ever seen, though, for sure.
Then spring became active fast. The Wolf River flooded the town of Shyocton in early April, and by mid-May, Wisconsin had already seen 19 confirmed tornadoes statewide. On May 15th, a severe weather outbreak in Dodge County saw 6 tornadoes, hitting Mayville and Juneau hard.
I just saw like big old clouds coming in, and then all of a sudden it was a green dark sky, and then the power hit, and there was no power.
Record highs in the 90s were set across northeast Wisconsin right after the summer solstice, causing more than 50 road buckles statewide. Summer 2025 will also be remembered for the smoke. Wisconsin saw at least 24 days of poor air quality from Canadian wildfires. Severe storms and straight-line winds left widespread damage on August 9th. In Door County, an EF0 tornado touched down at Peninsula State Park. Severe winds left some residents without power for days.
I left here yesterday about 4 p.m. and everything was beautiful, and then I got a phone call about 4:30. The trees were down all over the place.
The same storm brought catastrophic flooding to the Milwaukee area. It marked the region's worst flash flood since 2008 and caused nearly $60 million in damages. And before we close out the year, winter is already off to a fast start with Winter Storm Aurora and Beau arriving before December. Winter Storm Clara wasn't far behind, dropping as much as 7 inches of snow in some parts of northeast Wisconsin. Meteorologist Audrey Leigh, Fox 11 News.
The USS Cobia submarine in Manitowoc went into dry dock this fall. Fox 11's Phil DeCastro followed the restoration journey with an exclusive look at the work. Scan the QR code on your screen to head to the WLUK-TV Fox 11 YouTube page. There you can watch our USS Cobia Restoring a Legend Fox 11 News Special. Getting outside and experiencing the outdoors is part of how we live here in northeast Wisconsin.
Fox 11's Eric Peterson takes a look back at some of this year's best.
With much improved conditions on the ice, hopes were high heading into the February sturgeon spearing season on the Lake Winnebago system. But as opening day arrived, DNR sturgeon biologist Margaret Stadig says it was much different below the frozen surface.
There's areas of the lake where you can't even see the bottom of your ice hole, so you can't see where the bottom of the ice is. So it's just the water clarity, particularly at the surface, is just really poor.
Some did find success. Haley Herzig speared this 180-pound monster. It's the 4th largest ever on Lake Winnebago.
We started pulling it up and we saw the size of it, and that's when we kind of got a little panicky. When they pulled it up on the scale and the weight popped up on the screen, I was in disbelief.
Just up the road, the search was on at the new zoo and adventure park in Suamico. 2 river otters escaped their habitat in March during Winter Storm Ezra.
They managed to find a place where there was just a little break in that fence and made it just large enough for an otter to sneak through.
New zoo director Carmen Murak says surveillance video tracked the otters named Louie and Ophelia.
They look to have had a great time. They were very busy sliding down hills, romping around, lots of belly slide marks.
In April, officials trapped Ophelia and returned the otter to its enclosure. Louie remains on the run. Zoo officials say they accept the fact Louie has made the decision to be a wild otter. And in November, DNR State Deer Specialist Jeff Pritzel says preliminary harvest totals for Deer Hunt 2025 were down slightly from the year before.
Because of the snow that arrived in the northern forest leading up into Thanksgiving, and then we got the big snowstorm in the southern half of the state, certainly variable conditions.
Eric Peterson, Fox 11 News.
Over the summer, our Eric Peterson traveled across the state, highlighting the popular parks and hidden gems in the state. Scan the QR code on your screen to head to the WLUK-TV Fox 11 YouTube page. There, you can watch our Trails and Treasures of Wisconsin State Parks special.
Well, so far we've revisited the big stories impacting our area in 2025.
Next, a look at which stories our viewers interacted with most online. And after more than a decade, the Fox 11 studio got a whole new look. We take you inside months-long renovation process.
We have kept you informed by posting thousands of stories this year at fox11online.com.
Scott Hurley takes a look at the most viewed stories of 2025.
Counting down the top 5 most viewed stories of the year. Number 5 was an unusual story of 2 men charged in Fond du Lac County with illegally dumping 35,000 lamps filled with mercury near Horicon Marsh. That story had 160,299 page views. Number 4 was an in-depth look at a shocking child neglect case in the town of Oneida.
The way the system is we're relying on people to make a report or calling us and letting us know what's going on.
That story had 207,304 page views. Our third most viewed was a tragic story about a death on Interstate 41 in Fox Crossing. That had 232,786 page views. Number 2 was a local soldier's reaction to a meeting of top military leaders called by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
If you can perform your job and you can be effective in that position, then I don't believe it should matter, if you're male, female, whatever.
That story had 386,671 page views. And the story that most caught your interest in 2025 was our first report on the Oneida child neglect case.
She was very, very close to death. Again, 35 pounds at 14 years old.
That story logged 437,765 page views. To see these full stories and the rest of the top 10, head to fox11online.com/year2025. Scott Hurley, Fox 11 News.
All right, picture it. 1975, Jaws became the first summer blockbuster. The Vietnam War ends, and Bill Gates co-founded Microsoft. But in Northeast Wisconsin, which stories made headlines? You can scan the QR code on your screen to head to the WLUK-TV Fox 11 YouTube page. You can go back in time and watch the Year in Review special from 1975.
That would be interesting, right? Well, it has been a year of change here at Fox 11. In May, our longtime news director, Julie Beeler, retired. Now, she was a member of the Channel 11 team for more than 30 years. During her tenure, Fox 11 won dozens of awards, including Station of the Year from the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. Also retiring this year is WLUK and WCWF Vice President and General Manager Jay Zoller. With his leadership, the station became the overall favorite for balanced news and severe weather coverage in Northeast Wisconsin. Thank you, Jay, for more than 26 years.
And finally tonight, we have to highlight the room we're standing in right here.
Absolutely. This beautiful and brand new Fox 11 studio was a huge project of 2025. We have been loving all of the new ways that we can present stories to you, and we're just getting started.
I knew it was going to be special, but I didn't realize how the technology had changed so much that it's made this truly remarkable.
When this is the final product, it's fun to look back and see where it all began. In this time lapse, you can see about 8 weeks of work happening, transforming our studio into one that is state of the art.
I mean, you've seen monitors before, but just nothing that looks quite like this.
Yeah, and you can, as you said, you can section this off into a whole bunch of different configurations.
You can't miss the 2 huge monitor walls. There's one right behind the anchors and another one running the length of the studio. They contain over 9 million LED lights, offering spectacular video and graphics options.
They're beautiful shots. We've got some beautiful aerials that we're able to show people. But again, when we get down to the basics and the business part of it, we want to make sure that we're using this technology to be able to help tell the story.
In weather, there are 2 monster screens and a desk allowing the meteorologist to work on set during severe weather. And with sports, there's this tri-panel option, offering unique views for special coverage.
So that brings us to the end of 1 year. Looking forward to the next. Continue to tune in to Good Day Wisconsin and Fox 11 for what's happening in your world.
Thank you for joining us for our 2025 A Year in Review special.